What a game. What a game. An absolute classic in Coleman Coliseum tonight between Alabama and the fighting Texas Aggies. Alabama comes out on top.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama, AHSA Radio Network. Luke Robinson, that's me. Alabama internet legend Jimmy Stein. Well, he's normally with me. Can't be with me tonight, which is all cool. Michael, Asian Jimmy Southern, should be joining me relatively soon. He was actually at the game. So giving him a little bit of a moment to get here, or at least get to his house. If he's at my house, that'll be weird. And boy, what a classic contest that was. You know, the spread came out. It ended up being like Alabama 9 points. I thought that was flat out ridiculous. And at the very beginning, it looked like, oh, Luke's a fool. I mean, Alabama's going to run away with this thing. And then Texas A&M, they seemingly had control for a while. It felt like Texas A&M sort of took control of the game. And yeah, Alabama might take the lead for a second a couple of times, but mostly it was Texas A&M sort of strong-arming Alabama, I thought. But give the Tide a lot of credit at the end of that game. Some monster shots, monster big rebounds. Yeah, they went to sleep a couple of times defensively, but that Bucky McMillan's teams are going to make you look that way. I've gotten to call enough of his games in high school back when he was just winning all kind of state championships at Mountain Brook to know that dude is just a coach. Flat out, he's going to be really good at Texas A&M. And you know, maybe one day he'd be good at Alabama. Who knows? But right now, I think Alabama's got the best coach in the history of their program. Nate Oates, yeah, again, there were some moments where you thought, what exactly are we doing? But this team is a lot of fun to watch. They're going to be in every game the way that they can shoot. And I thought it was just a fun game to watch. I was having to watch some of it as my daughter was playing her third grade I don't know if it's AAU, whatever that is, like they're for the Mambas, whatever that is. But it was a ton of fun to watch it on my phone while I was actually keeping the clock for that game. And man, what a big shot by Holloway late. I know it kind of does take the edge off of that being a great shot and tricky shot because he did miss the and one opportunity. It's almost like it's not exactly in the same stratosphere, but it's like George Teague stripping the ball from Lamar Thomas, and people forget that play didn't count. So, I mean, it counted kind of, but y'all know what I mean. But I still thought it was an incredible shot. I didn't think he was going to get it off in time. It felt like for all the world he was going to lose control of that, and there was going to be another jump ball. It seemed like there were several jump balls in this game. I thought Texas A&M came in and acquitted themselves quite well. I thought that they looked strong. They've got a team. They've got some dudes. It's amazing to me that they aren't ranked. I think that I think they should definitely be ranked. I think they're one of the top 15, 18 best teams in the country. I'm seeing some comments. Bama Willie says we were fortunate to get that out of bounds overturned. Bama Willie, I'm going to be honest with you about this. I was in the car on the way home, and my daughter, who had just played in the basketball game, she wanted to watch the game on my phone, and I was going to leave it sort of up there where I could sneak a peek every now and again, but she was in the back seat, so I let her watch that, and I just heard it over my car speakers, and they basically said, the announcing team said that this should go back to Alabama. So I don't know that it was that close. Maybe I didn't get to see that play, but at the time, the way the two announcers were saying it for ESPN, they didn't make it seem like it was super controversial. So I think that, again, somebody can refute that. I can't say one way or the other because I didn't get to see it. The 9-10 second call was very close. It stopped with 0.1 seconds. And I think it was dead on 15 seconds. Now, I want to know this. And maybe somebody can tell me, I played basketball all my life. I've coached little league teams a lot. I've called a lot of games for the AHSA radio network. And I just always have thought if it's going to be the 10-second rule, if you get a timeout, which Alabama did, if you get a timeout, the 10-second rule restarts. The two announcers, Richard Hendricks being one, and I don't know the other dude's name. I just know Richard because he played for us. They made it sound like, at least in the moment, like Alabama's got to throw this one deep because they've only got 0.1 seconds. Am I wrong about that? Can somebody out there tell me? Because it ended up seeming like I was right because Alabama threw it in quickly. A&M fouled immediately. And if I were Texas A&M and the rule is, hey, even when you call a timeout, you only have whatever's left, if that's 0.1 seconds or 5 seconds or whatever, to get it across half court. If I were A&M, I would have just said, okay, yeah, go ahead and get the ball in the backcourt. Go ahead and and then you'll get the violation. But clearly Texas A&M didn't think that was going to happen. But the two announcers, I don't know if anybody else even picked up on that. I thought it was strange they were saying that. And then I was like, maybe I don't understand the rule. But I'm looking for somebody in the comments that can maybe say what the heck's going on there. Bama is going to be playing Auburn this weekend at Auburn. I'm seeing some of the comments talking about getting some early comments on that game. Of course, Florida is going to be playing Texas A&M. That is a huge game. I mean, we caught Texas A&M at a good time. At least I thought so, because they do have Florida coming up at home. That atmosphere is going to be bananas. And, they've got to come to Tuscaloosa right before that. Well, they didn't take the night off. I can tell you that. Texas A&M is a good team. They impressed the heck out of me tonight. And when Michael joins us, he just texted me and said he just got home. So I'm going to let him talk a little bit more about the atmosphere and things like that. I'm seeing sports guys say, please do more of these live reaction shows after the games. And we want to. We try to. On football, we do for all of them. We try to on basketball. The thing is, I go to a fair amount of basketball games. And so it's not quite as easy because Jimmy doesn't know how to set it up. And Michael, Asian Jimmy Southern, also goes to a fair amount of games. In fact, I'd say he goes to just about all of them. So it's not exactly the easiest thing in the world for us to do a post game immediately. Now, a lot of times on a big basketball game, if I go to it, we'll come home and then we'll do it. But so somebody is trying to, he said they were talking about how to throw it deep because A&M was putting so much pressure to getting the ball in. Okay, maybe I misunderstood them in the moment because it sure seemed to me they only thought we had 0.1 seconds to get it. And then I was like, boy, I've never run up on that. I mean, I've played basketball my whole life. It's never been an issue that you wouldn't have enough time to get it across the court to where I'd have to even think about it. I just assumed that was correct my whole life. So I guess I am still right. But it was just interesting that particular scenario came up. One guy for Texas A&M, and I can't wait to get Michael Southern's input on this. I thought Dominguez was going to potentially have a big night. The guy scored 1 point. I thought it was a little strange that he just wasn't on his game necessarily. AG for A&M had a big game, but we can't talk enough about Amari Allen. I keep seeing these lists from CBS, from ESPN, about these are the best freshmen, top 10 freshmen, top 12 freshmen, whatever. And Amari Allen's never on them. Okay, fair enough. But, man, he's right there on the precipice of it. He's right there at it. Now, look, Bob Builder 6697 says, Luke, I don't want to get you worked up about this, but the crowd tonight was disappointing, especially in the first half. Now, I'm going to let Michael Southern chime in here because he does say this, and he's told me this for quite some time. On weeknights, 6 o'clock games, it is always like clockwork. The crowd is there late. And now, as Michael Southern joins us, upside down, Spider-Man, Michael Asian Jimmy. There you go. Now you got it turned. Good to have you, Mike. Thanks for being with us. Can you hear me? I think you're coming through your own speakers. Now he's going to just drop off. That's okay. Let's remove him and he'll come back. Hopefully. But so he talked about the crowd on a text with me. And we were talking about the crowd and what that was like. Are you back with us, Mike? He's not with us, so I'm going to wait on him again to get back with us. I'm going to give him one more shot. He's trying something else, it looks like. He's adjusting his glasses, and we'll see if that helps. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I'll just go with.
There we go. We finally got you. All right. So, Mike, thanks so much for being with us. Appreciate that. And so you just came back from the game.
Yes,
what was it like?
back.
I've already had some people talk about the crowd being a little disappointing, especially at the beginning, which I said you explained on a text thread to me that this happens all. In fact, you've told me this multiple times before. Go ahead and give us your input.
Yeah, so look, it's pretty common on these midweek 6 o'clock games. The crowd at the tip-off is usually pretty bad. And here's the reason why. It's just a terrible time. Only the Tuscaloosa people can get there reasonably close to tip-off time. You do have the Birmingham crowd that comes in later. The Birmingham crowd came. Was it a sellout? Was everyone physically there? Heck no. But I can tell you at least by halftime, it was much better than it looked at tip-off. And there in the second half, definitely the crowd got much louder. So I won't say it's one of the best crowds ever, but it was still fine. It was not awful. It was a good crowd, and for the people that were there, they gave everything they had in the second half to help the team.
Let me say this about that too. If you're just a casual hoops fan, you probably go, I don't know if I'm going to drive down for A&M. You have no idea they're leading the dead gum conference because very unfairly they're unranked. They are a top 20 team. There's no doubt about it in my mind. That team that I saw play tonight was good.
Yeah, so I guess again, the low bar of expectations preseason, it's going to take a lot, I guess, for the media to vote them in. The biggest thing too is the non-conference schedule is not the greatest. So from the overall stats, when you look at KenPom and you look at things like the net, maybe they're still not, a top 10, top 15, but that's a very good team. Credit to Bucky McMillan. They play a very annoying style, and it wears you down both physically and mentally. And tonight, I can give Alabama a lot of credit. They took care of the ball, and as far as the 94 feet full court press, I thought Alabama did a fantastic job breaking it most of the time. It wasn't a big deal really from that standpoint.
Yeah, and we're going to have to take a break here in a second. I know you just joined us, but I thought Alabama did a pretty good job. I've seen a couple of folks comment, hey, Nate Oates doesn't know how to teach defense and blah, blah, blah. Listen, I thought A&M style sort of worked for us. I mean, if we had been in College Station, we probably lose because the game was so close or whatever. But, I thought we handled it pretty doggone well considering what people need to remember is this. We're without Keaton Bristow still. Help me out who's still hurt. Who's else is hurt right now?
Davion Hannah and also Taylor Bowen.
Taylor Bowen, all of them out. And not on top of that, I was listening to Chris Stewart on my way to my daughter's game, and Aiden Holloway gets knocked down, and he goes, oh, no, he's holding that left wrist that he just got over. And I was like, oh, no, this can't be right. How is nobody else in the conference getting hurt? And it's just us. You look on that availability report every time we play, we have 3 or 4 or 5 dudes. The other team has 1 every time.
Well, it's a given right now. There's going to be 3 on there no matter what. You're always going to see Collins, Davion, and Keaton. Whether at least 2 of those 3 come back, I don't think you're probably going to see that the rest of the season. I hate to be so negative. And then, again, add just 1 more person. That's 4. That's a pretty significant impact. Look, I don't think it was the case tonight. It was that big a deal that Alabama, didn't have a lot of bigs available because you didn't need bigs out there on the court. You needed 1 big and 4 guys that could handle the ball, and that's what Alabama did most of the game. They platooned, Aiden Sherrill and Charles Bediako, and I thought that worked really well. You had the playmakers out there, you had the ball handlers out there. Was it the best game ever? No, but I still thought they did what they needed to do. And look, Alabama, credit them. They fell behind in the second half yet again, found a way to come back, then blew a 6-point lead and found a way to come back. And then I'm sure you probably already talked about it. Let's not forget the crazy circus shot by Aiden Holloway toward the end from the baseline.
Yeah.
That was huge. That was just huge.
Well, and I commented on that it's almost like George Teague stripping Lamar Thomas because that play didn't count. But when Aiden Holloway didn't convert the 3-point play, is sort of like, it sort of took the edge off. It feels like that's symbolic of this whole year for this team. Like sometimes they do something fantastic. They're right there at it. And then you fall a little short or you have a great game, one game, And the next game, you're puzzling in the way that you play. But we're going to talk more about this game itself right after this.
I'm Kalia Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. Number 1 ranked UConn dominated Tennessee 96-66, turning a halftime tie into a historic win and avenging last season's loss by delivering the largest margin in the rivalry's history. AZ Fudd had 27 points and Sarah Strong added 26 as the Huskies remain perfect on the season, reminding everyone why they are the reigning national champions. In the Big Ten, number 2 UCLA rolled past number 8 Iowa 88-65, powered by 22 points from Angela Dukelich and a huge advantage in the paint, staking their claim as a national threat. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts that same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
Okay, I was going to try and do something different and do like another little freeze. It doesn't matter. Okay, so my takeaways from this game, and again, you were there, so you can tell it's more, and I'll let you speak a lot on it. But and I was at my daughter's game, watching my daughter play. She had a big game, by the way, and then watching my phone while I was also keeping the clock. So I might have missed a couple of details here. There was one question from somebody said, "Why wasn't that an intentional foul by Texas A&M?" And when we brought the ball in the last time, they're never going to call unless you just swing. They're not going to ever call that. I didn't think it was anyway.
That was the officiating was as erratic as the gameplay sometimes. And at 1 minute, they weren't calling anything. The next minute they were calling everything, and it was kind of back and forth. And let me just say, I do believe that's the weakest technical foul that Nate Oates has gotten during his entire tenure here in Alabama. We joke and do the Nate Oates technical foul counter on Tide Hoops history. And, we're going to reset the counters, but that was pretty weak. I don't even think he was talking to officials. I think he was talking to Brian Adams, and they assessed the technical. So that was a little weak, very, very uneven, not uneven, but very erratic officiating, not consistent. I don't know. There were a couple of times where you saw some of the players, Amari Allen, some other ones, there were some words going on between the two teams. So
it was scrappy.
Yes, it was very chippy. It got extremely chippy. I'm surprised there wasn't technical fouls amongst the players. Obviously, thankfully, it didn't get as bad as I guess is the Tennessee Ole Miss game, or no, the Arkansas Kentucky. It wasn't as bad as that, but there could have been. I was considering. Oh, and Bucky McMillan, he was out on the court probably half the game, so they never called that. They just kept pushing him back, saying get back off the court. So you could have done that as well. So I don't know. Again, at the end of the day, Alabama won. They had to win this game. You do not want to end the first half of SEC play at 4-5. So it was crucial that you get this one. Does it mean that they're going to win the league? Maybe, probably not. But at least you're still 2 games back of the leaders. You're still technically in there, and you did not need to go into Auburn with a 4-5 record in the SEC.
I'm going to say something right now. Had we lost this game at home, I would have guaranteed a loss at Auburn. Now, I still think Auburn will be favored Saturday. I still think smart money probably takes Auburn on the money line. I feel better about it now. We needed a good thing to happen. And this was a good thing. I mean, LeBaron Philon and Aiden Holloway weren't really on in the first half. They really come alive in the second half. Aiden Sherrill was actually dribbling the ball past the timeline several times, which I was getting really scared of. But I know why we had to do it, because they were just all over our guards. I mean, I kind of get it. Amari Allen, I was saying this right before you came on, that I see list after list of, who are the best freshmen in the country. Darren Peterson at Kansas is a badass. We all know it. Yeah, I did see a funny tweet about him because he's always hurt. He's always got some cramp, some, little, what do you call it? A twing, what do you call it? It doesn't matter. He's got to get a little something wrong with him. And somebody tweeted out, okay, guys, here at Kansas, we've got this guy that is a generational talent. He can shoot it from 30 feet. He can jump like Jordan. He can pass like Stockton, and he rebounds like Akeem Olajuwon. The only problem is he hates basketball. And that, I just thought that was very funny and emblematic of him. And I think it's almost the opposite. for Amari Allen. You can tell he loves basketball. He loves it. He loves being out there. His stat line tonight was beautiful. I mean, 12 points. He was 7 boards, 6 assists. By the way, shout out to Alabama for having 19 assists night. A&M also looked good doing that. I thought this was 2 really good teams playing very high-level basketball. And I think if those 2 teams had played that way against most of the country, take out UConn, take out Arizona, I think they beat most of the teams in the country if they continue to play that way.
Yeah, the effort that you got from Alabama, and remember, Amari Allen is finally getting back to the Amari Allen before the injury. So you're starting to see Amari Allen get back to what he was before missing those couple of games. I agree with you. If you had the same kind of effort and execution, then I believe for sure you beat Tennessee because you didn't have Holloway and you didn't have Amari Allen, and you beat Texas. Now it's a whole different matter if you're talking about Alabama that's 7-2 in the SEC. Now they're tied with Florida and Texas A&M, so it's a totally different story. The key down the stretch as we go into the back 9 is, look, we already know what it is. You've got to stay healthy and keep these players on the court. You know who your key players are now. You cannot lose Amari Allen. You cannot lose Aiden Holloway. We're going to see what happens if they get the court extension, whether or not you can keep platooning Aiden Sherrill and Charles Bediako. I mean, I think that'll be key too in the last 9 games. If there's an extension and he plays beyond the Auburn game, that's really going to help Alabama because, again, Aiden Sherrill gets the rest that he needs, and Aiden Sherrill is fresh in the second half and plays as well then as he does in the first half. So that's going to be crucial for Alabama when it comes to
because Noah Williamson, who didn't play a single minute tonight, he's not the kind of guy. I mean, he can come in and be a body. And again, this is not my making fun of him or do anything like that. He's just the speed of this game is too much for him, it appears. I mean, it is clear as day.
Yeah, I was not surprised one bit that you did not see Noah Williamson or even Jaleel Bethea. In this game, you needed people that, valued possession or valued taking care of the ball and were at least going to give a solid effort on defense. Unfortunately, Noah, they would have stripped the ball out of him anytime he got it. And we already know the issues that Coach has with Jaleel when his waning defense and sometimes his erratic offense. Look, I think Jaleel definitely could have scored against this team, but there probably would have been some massive breakdowns on defense. So I'm not surprised that neither one of those plays didn't play. I hate that, but this was not the game that you play those 2 players. There will be other games that you need them, but tonight was not the game for them.
Yeah, one thing that worries me about that, I mean, I don't think anybody is going to get upset necessarily about Noah Williamson not playing, and I don't think even Noah Williamson's going to. If you see the look on his face when he does play and he's out of sports, it tells you like, hey guys, I don't even want to be out here right now. I know he played well against Kentucky. I remember that, but I'm just saying, but Jaleel, this is the only thing that worries me is how his not playing at all could affect some team chemistry. I don't know how his attitude is about it. I know it'd be very difficult to not be upset about it. At the same time, the team got to win. So you hope that everybody's sort of like, hey man, we're going to pick you up tonight. We're going to need you later this year. I just don't want him to give up on the team. You know what I'm saying? Or the team to give up on him.
I still think there are definitely going to be some games left when you're going to need Jaleel Bethea to come off the bench and give you some help. But I think right now you do see, as long as the people that stay healthy, with the exception of Taylor Bowen, I think you're now seeing the nucleus that Alabama's going to just have to ride and die with for the next 9 games. I mean, that it is what it is. If you have some more injuries, which of course this team seems to always have, you may shuffle a little bit. But healthy Amari Allen, Aiden Holloway, LeBaron Philon, Reitzel, I mean, those are your core guys. And subbing out Sherrill and Charles Bediako. Yes, Taylor Bowen will be a help. Again, I think some people are definitely going to stay squeezed out as the season kind of winds down on these back 9 games.
Bob Sacramento 3099 says we lost every statistic except the scoreboard. And look, I'm not here to like get mad at or make fun of anybody who chimes in here because I love to see you all. But you're just wrong. I'm looking at the stats right now. Alabama out-rebounded A&M 44-36. They at assists, it was 22-19. Both of them were about 2 or 3 assists over their average for the year. Turnovers were even at 6. Steals were even at 6. Alabama 4 blocks. A&M only had 2. Offensive rebounds, Alabama had 13. Texas A&M had 5. I feel like Alabama, they both shot, pretty well from the floor. I mean, it was 32 of 65 for A&M, 31 of 69 for Bama. A&M was scorching from beyond the arc at 13-31. We were 16-48. 69% for free throws for us, 71 for them. So, and finally, the score was 197. So all those stats are about even or very close. That leads to that kind of score.
Yeah. So the key that you just said there on the 3-point shots, yes, A&M had a better percentage, but Alabama got them in volume. There's your difference
volume
right there.
Yep.
Alabama got their volume, and they just beat them with the volume of made threes. That was a key difference. But you're right, everything else is about dead even. So these are two pretty evenly matched teams. I would have no doubt if they play again in the SEC tournament or anything else, you'll probably see a very similar outcome, very similar pace. And, it was entertaining to watch, a little stressful. I don't know if you have any blood pressure sponsors you want to tout for Locked On Bama. Maybe sign them up next time Alabama and Texas A&M play basketball. Might be a good lead in after a segment for that one.
Or maybe we'll start selling meth. I could do that because I wanted to take some meth from time to time. I don't even know if they're brands of meth. I'm going to need to do some research on that. But all right, that's going to do it. We're going to talk more about this game tomorrow. Asian Jimmy, we love having you, bro. Everybody always says every time you're on, they're like, we need more of him. I'm like, yeah, I agree. I wish we'd play more. But somebody has said on here that that they want us to do more of these post-game reports. I said the problem is I go to a lot of games, you go to a lot of games, and Jimmy can't set it up. So we got a triumphant that maybe can't make it work sometimes.
Yeah, but how about this? If there's another Saturday home game and we're both at it and it's worthy of it, let's just do it from Coleman. Can you do it off your phone? From Coleman?
Man, yeah, let's do it from their Wi-Fi. I think I could talk somebody and letting us do that.
Remember, the Coleman Coliseum Wi-Fi does exist and it's not bad. And if the game ends, you'll have everybody leave and we should have good internet connection. So let's just do it live.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
From the stands.
You know what we could do? I could be on one. I could have my computer be on one side of the stadium. You be on the other side. That'd be funny.
That would be funny. That would be hilarious.
All right, buddy. That's going to do it. Thanks so much for joining us, telling us about the thing, and roll tide, everybody. Big win.
Roll tide. Big win.